Greetings, my dear viewers. It is I, Drayhan, and welcome back to another Dungeons & Dragons character conversion. Today we are looking at Mewtwo from the Pokemon franchise. Now, normally I would not do a Pokemon as a playable Dungeons & Dragons character. Mewtwo, however, is an odd exception. And if you look into the lore of Mewtwo, you can actually see why this would be an odd exception. Which one was it? It was one of the mangas. It was blatantly proven that Mewtwo has the DNA of a human. Mixed in with Mew's DNA. Kind of like in Jurassic Park, where they had to fuse frog DNA with the dinosaur DNA. Anyways, this is the only exception I'm going to make to the Pokemon franchise. Mewtwo being a playable character. Now, let's go ahead and get started. I'll explain some other things once we get into it. We're going to use the point-buy system as we always do. Strength is going to be our dump stat at an 8. Dexterity, Constitution, and Wisdom will all be a 13. And Charisma is going to be a 15, our highest stat, with Intelligence being 11. For race, I wanted to go with Tabaxi, the catfolk, if you will. Now, it has been, I guess, theorized by many people that Mew and Mewtwo, by association, are cat-like in appearance. While it's a bit of an odd theory, and normally I would not support it, I think we can make another exception as far as making a character build. Besides, there aren't really too many other races we can use that have tails. I mean, there is the Tiefling, but I can't really figure out how to get it to work either. I mean, if you wanted to, you can use Tiefling, because it makes a little bit more sense to go that route. Anyway, for ability score, you get a +2 to your Dexterity, +1 to your Charisma. You get the Feline Agility and Cat Claws. For skills, you get Perception and Stealth. Languages, you get Common, and just for kicks and giggles, go with Undercommon as your second language. So we now have a Dexterity of 15 and a Charisma of 16. Alright, the background was the trickiest part. There was one other background that we could have gone with, but I'll save that for the end of the video. For this build, we are going with the Awoken background. If you do not know where that is from Alashaw's Compendium of Unusual Choices, which can be found on the DM's Guild. I'm going to make sure to put a link to that in the description, like I did with my last video. You get a skill for Insight and a feature called Psionics Initiate. You'll get the Mage Hand cantrip, which is an invisible hand for this particular background. And you also get Telepathy out to only 10 feet, which we'll fix that later. Alright, and these are the characteristics that I went with that came from Alashaw's Compendium of Unusual Choices Awoken background. And they fit with most of the more sentient Mewtwo's. Like Mewtwo Prime and what is the nickname they gave the other one? Mewtwo? The one from the original movie and the Genesect movie. Anyway, I'll go into a bit of a rant about that somewhere else. Anyway, moving on to class, we're going to start off with a monk class. Now, I was going to be a little cheeky and go with the barbarian, so I can get the berserker archetype, which would have a bit of reference to the berserk gene which Mewtwo possesses. However, monks seem to be the better choice. I mean, if you wanted to go for 3 classes, go ahead and grab barbarian. Also, because of barbarian, multi-classing would have made me make strength 13, which I don't really want to do. Okay, anyways, weapon proficiencies are going to be simple weapons and short swords. You have brewer's supplies for your tool proficiency, strength and dexterity for your saving throws. Skills are going to be history and religion. Makes sense. You have unarmored defense and martial arts. For a second level, we want to go with Sorcerer most definitely. You get spellcasting, which uses your charisma. Your Sorcerer origin is going to be the Psionic Soul. You'll have the Psionic Talent, which gives you Psionic Discovery, Psychic Sorcery, and Telepathic Speech, which increases your telepathy to, I believe, 30 feet, which is really good. And Sorcerer, we're going to have a lot of nice spells. Unfortunately, I don't go over them. Maybe I'll go over them on my Discord server. Maybe. Anyway, link to my Discord server will also be in the description. If not, you can find it on one of my other videos. Anyways, level 2, Monk gets Key, which uses your Wisdom modifier. You'll get Flurry of Blows, Patient Defense, and Step of the Wind. You also get Unarmored Movement, which increases your speed to a total of 40 feet, which is really good. Level 2 Sorcerer gets your Fount of Magic. Level 3 Monk gets a Monastic Tradition. And we're going with Way of the Living Weapon, which can be found in Exploring Eberron, which can be found on the DM's Guild. You get Fist of Bone and Steel, a Martial Discipline. Go ahead and choose Nightmare Shroud. This will give us some extra psychic damage onto our fists. You also get Beautiful Strike on Deflect Missiles. Level 3 Sorcerer gets Meta Magic. Go with Extended Magic. This will have our Hypnosis last for 24 hours. So basically your friends, your Dominate person, Charm person spells can now last 24 hours. And you also get the Quicken spell, which will have some of your other spells that take an action to cast only cost a bonus action. Level 4 Monk gets Slow Fall and either an ability score improvement or a feat. If you go with the ability score improvement, just increase your dexterity and wisdom by 1 each. If you want a feat, go with Telepathic. This will increase one of your stats and give you some special features, such as having the spell detect thoughts. And you'll be using your charisma as the spellcasting modifier for it. For 4th level Sorcerer, you can go with the... And I forgot that. Okay, so with the Sorcerer, level 4 Sorcerer, you get an ability score increase to 2 of your stats. Go ahead and increase your dexterity by 1, and go ahead and increase your wisdom by 1 as well. I don't always do that. 15. There we go. Much better. But if you want to grab a feat, grab the Warcaster feat. Level 5 Monk gets extra attack and stunning strike. And finally, for our final level for this build, grab level 5 Sorcerer. You don't really get anything as far as features go, you just get another spell slot. If you do go further in this build, I would say that... for Sorcerer, go ahead and go all the way to level 14 with it. And only do 6 levels in Monk. You could also go to, like... I think it was... what was it? The Way of the Living Weapon had a special feature at, like, level... I think it was, like, 14 or 18. I don't quite remember. But I would just stick with 14 levels in Sorcerer, 6 levels in Monk. Now, for alternate class archetypes and backgrounds, because some of you might want to go to Adventures League with a Mewtwo build. So you should be safe with a Monk using the Sun Soul tradition and a Sorcerer using the Shadow tradition. And for background, I think Semic Scientist might be a safe bet. Not entirely sure. Anyway, that's all the time I've got for you today, viewers. Until next time, this has been Drayhan, and I am offline.